Come on. Come on, baby. Come on. Your mother's still out there in the front.
All right, Uncle, we should be
oh man, the meeting is being live streamed. This is like the hey, listen, we just want to let you know that somebody is recording you and somebody is watching you, and maybe it's the Russians or the Chinese or Donald Trump. I don't know.
Uh-oh.
Hey, you know what I was thinking about today? I said I was gonna I thought I saw on when I go down Southern Maryland, like the Trump stickers are hard, right?
Yep.
So I thought I saw something. It was probably Andy Harris, but another Republican, but it was like Trump and Harris. I was like, I should take a Trump sticker and cut off one of my Kamala Harris and put them together and put Trump Harris.
Don't do that. Man, I'm gonna get a message from a few people. Man, I ain't heard from LeeMack in about
right.
Man.
What happened to your uncle, man? Is he all right, man?
I don't know. And you know how we are now. If I don't hear from you in a day, I'm gonna think something wrong. So.
You know what? He was saying some crazy stuff. I think the feds might have got him. I had a call last night. A brother told me, he said, hey, listen here, man. He said, when bro man come by with that stuff in his trunk, could you just let a brother know?
Hey man, bro man come around, he here, and when he get here, he might not be here but for 5 minutes. So by the time
how bro man is, bro man moving and grooving,
he trying to move.
He don't stay in one place at one time.
Oh man. Well, we are not really paying attention too much to the chat today. So here's the idea behind what's going on. This is the first episode of the live weekly discussion that me and LeeMack are gonna start doing. Not really gonna be much about cigars. We're gonna pretty much cover everything else but cigars. Now in the beginning, we'll do a little opening segment. We'll let you know we're smoking or whatever like that. But the whole point of this live stream is just we're gonna be covering topics ranging from pretty much anything you could think of. And again, we will probably check out the comments towards the end of the stream. We'll plan on being up for about an hour. We'll check the comments then, but this is just gonna be a loose conversation between me and Lee, and we're just gonna talk, and hopefully you guys will enjoy what you hear. And with all we got going on, what you got over there in the bottle? Huh?
Oh man, we got a little Nika from the barrel. This was since you said you had some Japanese whiskey, I got a little corner left in this one. I got another full bottle downstairs. Nika from the barrel. This won some kind of awards, and then it went crazy. You know how it is on the secondary market. You can't find it, and yada, yada, yada. I walked into one of my local spots today, and they had 4 bottles on the shelf. So, if I wanted more.
That was me too. That was me too. So it's actually funny. I was actually really close to picking up that bottle, the same bottle, but then I ended up going with the Miyagiko.
Okay.
Single malt. Start calling this. We're gonna have to call it another nickname so we don't get flagged. I'm gonna start calling it Japanese apple juice.
Because they say, oh, wait a minute, you got them things hanging out your mouth and you're sipping on stuff in the glass.
Yeah, so we're gonna flag you.
We're gonna flag you. So
we're gonna flag you.
So what are you smoking tonight?
Tonight I am shout out to brother Carson over at Ass Shed TV. We all in that group chat. He's been talking about this damn cigar for probably a month. So I finally got my hands on the Diesel Disciple Lancero.
Oh, nice.
Which is a 7x38. It's got a Mexican San Andres wrapper, Sumatra binder, and a Nicaraguan Habano filler. So we'll see if this blend ends up being any good.
All right, that's cool.
What about you? What you smoking on?
I'm smoking a Davidoff small batch, and I think I got this from James, I believe.
What number is that one? That small batch number 3. That's my shit there.
Oh well, wait a minute. Maybe I better put this out and put it back in the humidor.
Oh, smoking it. Well, I say you know me and Davidoff anyway. You know how me and Davidoff is.
Man. So. Let me see what it say. This is small batch number 11.
I don't think I've had that one.
Yeah, but I think I got this from James. So anyway, I'm gonna smoke it because you know what I say. You got to smoke your good stuff, man. Too many people waiting for tomorrow, and tomorrow might not never come. So
definitely. So I'm going to talk to you about this too. So I want to say first and foremost, I always enjoy spending the time with you on live streams, conversing with each other. And I'm one of them weird guys, man. I think about a lot of this stuff all the time too, right? So I know that, none of us are going to be here forever. So for me, I just being honest, I've always thought about it in person or just in my mind. I always have these random thoughts that go on through my mind that, like, if something happens to you or me, like I'm glad that it's just a lot of documented stuff with us together doing stuff.
Right.
So when we were coming up with the idea for this obviously was a no-brainer for me too. It's just like, I always like to have timestamps and a lot of, you know what I mean? Like if something happens to me or you or whatever, and family's like, oh yeah, you know, it's like, man, you can just pop up on YouTube and find hundreds of videos of us talking about cigars or whatever the hell we're talking about. So this is really important for me. And I think this is, you know, a way for other people to kind of get in our conversation, so to speak. Because, you know, I think a lot of people by now know that how close me and you are. But I think it's funny. And that's kind of one of the first things I wanted to touch on this stream was, I know some videos that you've done in the past where you referred to not many people being in your friends list. And I know where you were telling me, like, some people, of course, the names aren't important. I don't know the names, just being honest, and it doesn't matter to me either. But just how I know we've talked, and it's just like some people are like, well, how am I not number one or number two? And you remember what I told you was, it doesn't matter if I'm number one or number 10, as long as you consider me a real friend. That's really the important thing for me. So I think sometimes it's just still kind of crazy for me to realize, or just to think that the people's thought process just isn't the same as yours. So it's like, well, damn, he's still saying you're his friend. Lee's met probably thousands of people. So if he's considering you one of the 10 that's his friend, and you worried about, damn, I'm 10, I should be number 3. You know, it's like, what? Like,
yeah. You know, when I was in high school, it was a big thing. They came up with this term associates. They didn't really come up with it. It was already a word, but that was, you know, they would say, is that your friend? No, that's my associate. You know, that was, I guess that made you sound important or whatever. But, you know, as I got older, I realized that, you know, a lot of people who you think are your friends, when you really need them, what you get is a bunch of excuses, right? So the way I was raised, it was like this. Your word meant a lot to you. So my grandfather taught me a lot on my mother's side. Now forget my father's side. Them Negroes, forget about it, you know. But I still love them, but you know, it's a whole different breed, right? But on my mother's side, my grandfather would say, your word is your bond. If you give a man your word, or if you shake hands on something, that means something. And you know, once you lose your word, or you give somebody your word and you don't keep your word, then that's like a hurtful thing, right? So when you start thinking about a lot of these people who want to be your friend, they say, hey man, you my friend, but when I call you, you don't show up when you said you was going to show up. Then how could that be your friend? How that's going to be your friend when you really need somebody and it's not there? And I'm gonna give a name. I ain't gonna call this brother a name, but he know who he is because we talked this week, right? So I had some work that needed to be done on the truck, right? So I said, well, you know, I got some work that need to be done on the truck. Look, you're gonna do it on the side, you know, this is the work that you do or whatever. Whenever, I know it's busy for you now, but whenever you can you come at least help me look at it and try to figure out what the problem is, right? Okay. So brothers, all right, cool. We've been going on with this for like months now, right? He said, I didn't forget, you know, whatever. So we set up a date. Bam, we're gonna come on this day. So on the day, I got the truck at the house. I was working on something else or whatever, but he called me like a few hours before the time that we were supposed to meet. He said, Ali, man, he said, I'm sorry. He said, but I'm hung up at work. I ain't gonna be able to make it today, right? Somebody like that is more like a friend than an associate, right? Because he promised you he was going to come. So I stood on his word that he said he was coming, and I believed that he was coming. Now, when something changed for him, he got on the phone in enough time so that I would know that I was not going to be there at the appointed time. That's the way your friends do you. Now, your associates, oh, man, them associates will call you like an hour and a half after they're supposed to be there and say, oh, man, you know, my baby mama, I had to do this, my job. They'll tell you all these excuses or whatever. So your friends treat you right.
Of course.
Your friends treat you right when you are, your friends treat you right when you are right, but your friends also tell you when you're wrong.
Yep.
That's a bigger part of it. A bigger part of like a real close friend is going to tell you, oh man, I hear what you're saying, but you're wrong on this one.
Right. And I mentioned that on my most recent video. I say you gotta have those people around that aren't afraid to check you. You know, if you saying something now let's use me and you for example. If I'm about to do something and you check me on it like, I don't know, Ron, if you should do that or not. That's cool. I'm glad that you came forward now, and we talk all the time. I'm hearing you. I'm gonna digest what you're saying, but I'm still gonna do this. But it's still the point that you still went out the way to tell me. And sometimes I think that people are so afraid to say something because they don't want to deal with controversy or conflict. And it's or they
don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, right? It's like, man, look, we're supposed to be men, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as a man, you're supposed to be able to look, everything ain't gonna be roses and rainbows all the time. As a man, sometimes you gotta get down in the trenches, and what you gotta hear, what you gotta do is not gonna be nice. But people count on you as a man. That used to mean something now, right?
Yep.
So it's like when we was in the group chat and I said, nah, I want to go do this. This is what I want to go do because that's the way I think it need to be done. Mm-hmm. And y'all told me, nah, man, just don't do it. So what I do, I said, all right, I don't agree with y'all, but I'm gonna listen to you. And I did what y'all said. Right. So sometimes we all need to have somebody around that's not afraid to check you. And that's what the friend is versus that associate. It's a whole lot of associates, but I say all the time, if you got more than 5 friends, definitely 10.
Yeah.
The people you consider friends, you got too many friends.
You shouldn't. So for me, like I don't have that many friends, but at the same time, I feel like on top of having a lot of associates, I feel like sometimes people get personal or they get their feelings hurt if they get called an associate. Mm-hmm. It don't bother me because 95% of the people that refer to me as an associate, they're the same to me too. So I've never understood that too. Some people are like, well, damn, I thought we were closer than that. It's like, well, wait a minute, bro. I don't talk to you, but maybe once or twice a year, maybe we don't. To me, it's all about, like you just said, can I count on you in our relationship? And we mentioned this on the phone earlier too. A lot of people will cover up the friendship because, oh, well, I grew up with that person, or mm-hmm. I've known them for 20 or 30 years, so that's a friend. That don't necessarily make them a friend. Me and Lee have only known each other for, I don't know, Lee, what,
6 years, something like that.
We are each other's one of our top friends, but it has nothing to, and so this is why I think that stuff like this is important too, Lee, because not only the friendship is displaying that you can be really close with somebody and not have a whole lot of time with that person, but also the importance of the age gap. Where certain people think, well, I ain't finna entertain, or I'm not finna talk to nobody that's 20 years old, or the 20-year-old like, man, I ain't finna talk to no 60-year-old. But truth be told is, if you link up with the right person, that 20-year-old and that 60-year-old both can learn a lot from each other. 60-year-olds more than likely has dealt with a lot more in life, but keeping up with the trends and how life is always evolving and changing, that 20-year-old is probably more in tune with what's going on and can help that 60-year-olds stay relevant. Whereas the 60-year-old can kind of push back and say, hey, you help me a little bit, I scratch my back, I'm gonna scratch yours. You could teach me some new stuff, how to stay relevant. I'm gonna teach you the basics, the fundamentals.
Listen, that's why I'll always stay with my kids. I'll come, hey, what's this? What's that? Whatever, And I try to, stay up on some things. Now, I ain't going to be like the old dude in the club, be like, oh, man, sit your 57-year-old ass down somewhere out here, with the gold chains and the Adidas suit in the club. I ain't going to be like that. But there's some things that you can learn if you listen from the young folks, because they will teach you some things. And then there's always going to be some things where you say, nah, you know what? I tried. I ain't going to get it. I'm going to give you the example on that one. Mm-hmm. So on this new car I got, we're saving the environment. So they have all this auto stop, start, car turn off, turn on, all this crap, right? That drives me up a wall. drives me up a wall. I don't want my engine to be starting and cutting off and starting every time I pull up to a red light or something like that, right? So I tried it. I tried to, deal with it or whatever. I'm looking for a workaround on my car. Some cars have a little button you could cut it off. But now my youngest daughter, Courtney, her car, she got a hybrid. So her car, sometimes the engine runs and sometimes the engine don't. It don't bother her. Mm-hmm. She likes that because that's her thing. She likes, not buying that much gas or whatever. So I'm like, okay, cool. Some things I'm going to learn from the young folks. I know about it, but that ain't going to be for me. I'm going to let y'all have that,
So speaking on old and young, or what we kind of term now as seasoned and unseasoned, I want to touch on something too. And I saw this and I screenshotted it today, and I was like, it's going to be perfect. This will be a perfect topic that we both can touch on. So the post said, anything that costs your mental health is too expensive, look elsewhere. And then so underneath it, this is a guy I went to high school with, and he said, right. Did you ever hear of so many mental health problems before the internet? Why won't anyone say that social media causes mental health problems? And I actually agree with it a lot. I think that so far, I think that so much of the population is so consumed with social media or the perception of what they want the world to make them look like. It's causing a lot of mental issues. Not to say that, I wasn't around 40, 50, 60 years ago, not to say that it wasn't there, but when I just interact with a lot of people that are my age and younger, and I'm scrolling and looking on timelines and stuff too, and I'm looking at things, and I'm just like, man, the validation that all these people are seeking from people that don't matter.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take it back like 40 years ago, right? Before the internet, before cell phones, first of all, we spent a lot of time outside. So that's what we did. We played, we had groups, you had friends or whatever, right? Now, it was always something going on. Somebody said something, whatever, and the word gets around. Word is always going to be on the street, right? Word is always going to get around. But here was the difference, though. I had my crew that I hung around with, and we all liked each other.
Right.
And so when we was going out or doing something or whatever we was doing, going skating, the movies, playing ball, riding bikes or whatever, I'm hanging out with people that like me, right? So no matter what those people over there had to say, the people that was hanging with me, when I walk out the door, I know that's my people. You know what I'm saying? Right. I my boy, I walk out the door, my boy Jeff, him and I, he used to tell me, he said, boy, you sure is ugly. He said, you so ugly, you ugly, right? So when I would walk out the door, he'd be like, ugly! And, and we would just go back and forth calling each other ugly. All right, what we doing today? But that was my dude, right? You know what I'm saying? So I didn't worry about what anybody said, because, his ass was ugly too. So I'm like, we both ugly. So we hanging out together. So we didn't worry about validation from the internet. Now, look what happens. We turn on our phone right away. How many thumbs up did I get? How many views did I get on my video? I wonder, ain't nobody said nothing about my Instagram posts? And we're all concerned about people that don't even really matter. So go back to those friends things, right? Friends and associates, right? How many people that think they are your friend, but they ain't never been to your house?
How they your friend and they ain't got your phone number?
Oh, you ain't got my phone number. So, and I'm not going to, I can't think of the word. I'm not going to subject. That's a good word. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to subject my family to somebody that's unworthy of being my friend.
Right.
So if you're my friend, then you can come to my house. You ain't my friend, you can't come to my house. So then people talk about Brother Terry all the time. They say, well, how come I can't get to sit on the front porch? Well, you can. How does he get to sit on the front porch? Because he can. And so when you talk about length of time, it means nothing length of time, right?
Right.
So number one man out in Kansas City, shout out to you, Brother Aaron Brooks.
Mm-hmm.
Brother Aaron Brooks came down. He said, look, I'm going to be in Baltimore. I said, come up. We're going to go up here. I'm going to take you around. We're going to go to the lounges, come by the house, this, that, whatever, right? He said, well, how long you know Aaron? Oh, I know Aaron a few weeks in person.
Right.
But that's my dude. You understand what I'm saying? He's my dude that I trust him enough to say, You can come to my house. He took me to his peoples and his places or whatever. So everybody don't get that. And people think that it's not a certain word. It's not a certain amount of things that you could say. I'm a good judge of character. So
I was just going to hit on it. You just got to trust your gut a lot of times too.
If I trust my gut, you are right. Randall says all the time, I don't know why you like me. I said, well, I just like you, Randall. I said, I like you from the beginning that I did. You just seem like you all right dude with me, you know? You're cool, you know? He says, I don't know. I said, well, that's just it. You just got to take it. It is what it is. You my dude, and that's it. You know, we can hang out. We can do whatever we got to do, you know? So.
Right. And speaking of, and you know, talking about like the validation and stuff too, you know the issue that I've been going through like the past couple months or so. And so for me, the issue kind of like when I look at somebody that's trying to seek all this validation and they're a little bit younger, still kind of like brush my head, kind of shake my head, but it's like, oh, okay, whatever. Person's 22 or 23 years old. But my issue is when I'm watching somebody that's in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, and they are, you know, sharing posts and just trying to cover their tracks. And then I look at some of this stuff and I'm like, why are you consuming so much time? I look at stuff and I'm just like, man, I just don't get it. Like you could be taking so much energy and so much time and putting it towards things that matter or really trying to strengthen relationships or strengthen your life. But instead, nope, let me just attack and get on Facebook or Instagram and just post and try to validate to these 10 or 20 people, which to me too, like troubles me too, right? So everything ain't for public consumption.
No, it's not. But you know that you can't change people.
Right.
People are gonna be who they are and they're gonna do what they want to do. And you know, it's like I told you, you know, some people I talk to or whatever, I say, hey, look, man, you know, here's some things, whatever. And they say, yeah, fuck that. I'm gonna go do what I do. All right, cool. I'm gonna let you do what you do. You can't, but then I can't worry about you not changing. Because you know what? Either you're going to get it in the long run or you won't.
Yep.
And if you do, good on you. If you don't, good on you.
Right.
You know, some people learn at a different pace. You know,
you know what I was told? I was always told when I was young, some people get it early, some people get it on time, and some people never get it. So
some people never get it. Never get it.
That kind of no, go ahead. What were you saying?
No, go ahead. I said, God bless the dead. I had an uncle who just never got it. He never got it his whole life. Never got it. I lose you there?
Yep. Can you hear me? You're freezing up a little bit.
Yeah, I hear you now.
Hold on. No, I was saying the same. I was saying the same thing. Like I have an uncle, literally the same exact thing. Like just never got it, man. It's just, you know. But so my thing is too, right? So if we jump back and say, like you just said, you can't change people, which is fine. My thing that I would like to say though too is I'm not gonna try to change you, but don't try to change me. But
then you worried about it and it's bothersome to you. You understand?
True.
So in a way, what they are doing is they are changing you whether you know it or not, because what they're saying is bothering you.
What do you think is changing me for the better, for the worse?
For the worse.
Yeah.
For the worse, because you now are spending time worrying about somebody else because they don't get what you have gotten.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's some very mature, I would say 19, 20-year-old cats. That means cats are mature, their heads are screwed on right, and they're good. Then there's some other people that they ain't screwed on so tight. So when you let those ones that ain't got their thing together and you let them affect you, in the end, it's just, I'm gonna tell you, like when I was younger, I used to be upset about things, and I'd be upset. Somebody did something, and like you saying, it pissed me off, right?
Yep.
I don't say nothing, I keep it in, whatever. They don't know. So finally, when I just explode about it, and I say something about it, whatever, like, oh, I didn't know. They sleeping good at night. They sleeping good at night, and you are bothered. You are being changed by what they're doing or whatever. It's like you told me, right? You said, look, if you stop watching some of this content that bothers you, eventually YouTube will stop suggesting it to you, and eventually you'll forget about them, and you'll go on back to doing what it was that you was doing.
Facts.
That came from you. You understand what I'm saying? So the things that were bothering me was changing me into somebody that either I didn't want to be or was trying not to be or whatever, but it's all a part of life experiences. So when people come and tell you, oh, I wish you would just do what you used to do and do it how you like to do it. No, this is my journey. This is all a part of my learning. This is all a part of my making mistakes. This is all a part of me developing into a better man, hopefully, than I am right now.
I love how you just touched on it too, right? So like, especially me with the past 2-3 months, like people know that the reviews haven't been as plentiful, but like I've said before with that, it's just all in my mind. I formulate it in the way of it's all just a part of evolution for me. So whereas now, like what my focus is I want to try to impact and influence as many people as I can. And honestly, I've learned that from you, a lot of it from you. Today, have a great day. Whether it started with you saying it on just a YouTube video that just was there, to transition into making sure that you put a little video out every day to let people see that. So the evolution for me now is, and I say this, and this isn't anything arrogant or cocky, but it's just like, I know what kind of person I am. And in my mind, I know that I'm a special person that has the ability to be able to reach a lot of people. I don't want to take that gift that I was given by God for granted. I want to make sure I'm using and taking full advantage of that. So it makes perfect sense that, Ron, you can't just be a cigar reviewer. If you're going to touch and impact more people, you got to get out to a broader spectrum. Talk about, be open about your depression or whatever you're going through. Like, just trust me, like you say all the time, there's some I mean, if 1,000 people watch the video, there may only be 10 people that admit it, but there are a lot more people that are going through it, but just ain't saying nothing.
Right. And you know, one of the things that I say is this too, is when you leave here, because we're all leaving here, what will they say about you, right? Yep. So if you've been around church as long as I've been around church, you've been to a lot of funerals or whatever. And I've been to funerals where, you know, anybody have something to say about the dude or the woman that's laying up here, and it's a line out the back of the door. Everybody got a story. Everybody got something good to say. Everybody got something they want to share. You got people that just broke up that this person is gone because they made such a difference in their life. And then you got where the pastor is struggling to get a couple of scriptures to kind of, you know, and you say, well, nobody ain't got nothing to say about him. Nobody got nothing good to say about him. He ain't never done nothing for nobody. He was a pain in the ass his whole damn life. Good riddance. We glad he's gone. Yep. So what kind of person do you want to be? And, you know, you learn later on in life that maybe you want to affect people in a positive way. And when you're younger, maybe you don't care. Some people do. You have some young folks, you know, the young Indian girl that was, you know, fighting for women's rights, and people that are looking for things that are bigger than them, and they're fighting for right. Even Martin Luther King, he was young when he was out there doing all of that stuff. And that wasn't just what was affecting him. It was the whole race of people that he was trying to affect in a positive way. Some people get that early. But when you go, I hope that they say about me, you know, it's like they say our old gospel song and say, may the works I've done speak for me. That means I don't have to say nothing. What I did, if you look back and you look and you say what I did in a positive way affected you in a positive way, my job here is done. It's done. You know, so, you know, people don't, it's, you know, oh man, you can't have a great day every day. Man, some days it's tough. Shout out to your sister Tracy. You know, she said, I've been having them tough days, Daddy Mac. It's been tough. Still a great day. It's tough. We all had those tough days. But if you sit back and you don't share that you having a hard time or you having a rough time, things are going a little rough in your life right now, you know, those people that stand up and say, no, every day is rainbows and sunshine. Everything is great. I got plenty of money and plenty of food and my family is doing, everything is great. Well, that's good for you because that ain't the way it is for everybody. It's a lot of people that have it hard every single day. They out there trying to get it up out the mud just to try to do a little something. I saw a dude once who said, I think he was in Africa somewhere in one of those countries. And he said he goes out and works to try to have his family eat, and he eats maybe every second or third day so that his family can eat. And you go home and you throwing away shit out the refrigerator. This man is just trying to feed his family first, and he eat every 2-3 days.
Right.
That's to me, that's what a man is supposed to be when you're taking care of your family. It's not about a matter of showboating and all of this other stuff. You're supposed to mean something, but some people just sorry. That's all I can say. They're just sorry. There ain't nothing you could do about them because their asses are sorry. They're gonna be sorry their whole life, and no matter what you say, they're just sorry.
And so for me too, like a small another side bulletin point on it too. Like I think that what's really important that sometimes we all can get sidetracked on because, you know, if you got a lot of money and we're able to do a lot of vacations, I could buy you whatever you want and stuff. That stuff's cool. But what I've realized as I've gotten older, and especially being a father now, what's really important to me is the time.
Right.
The time is what's important. You can't, money comes and goes. You know what I mean? You sit there and looked at 10,000 in my face, and I done had days where I done had $40 and I had to stretch that shit a week.
Right.
But the time is what I'm looking at like, man, you can't get that shit back once it's gone. That shit is gone.
Once it's gone, it's gone. And I'm gonna tell you this: anybody that's got young kids, now is the time that you want to spend the time with them because now is the time that they remember. Now is the time that you are molding them into who they are going to be. So if you raising a little gangster, God bless you, you know, because that's what he gonna be. Don't be surprised when he go to jail, because he never had no chores. He never had to do nothing. You made him think, especially them little boys. You made him think he was God's gift to the world. It ain't nothing too good for him. He ain't never had to, you know, when he walked around, his feet didn't touch the ground till he was about 10 years old because you was carrying him around everywhere. And then you wonder when he grows up, why is he a sorry ass man? He's sorry because you made him sorry. That's why. You
made him sorry. And I don't think people really people underestimate the value of good parenting because it's like everything pretty much starts at the house. It starts at home. And you know, I think I've heard some people, people my age, and well, the teachers didn't do this, and I'm like, how are you gonna blame the teacher? You know, like you're not gonna take any responsibility at all for what's going on at school. But it's the teacher's fault that he or she's got to take time out of their lesson to try to constructively give constructive criticism and try to do corrective behavior with your child because you aren't doing it at home.
And see, you know, too many folks, and it's a generational thing, so I say I just ain't gonna understand it. But they try to make it as the kids are little adults. They're not little adults; they are children, and they are not going to grow up until they grow up. Especially those little boys. I don't care what you say. Them little boys, we are just stupid and dumb until we are past like 25. Anybody can say what you want to. That's what I say. And I always said this. I don't care what problem you have out there in the street. You keep your mouth shut and you come home and I'll take care of it. Whether it's the police, the judge, the principal, the teacher, you keep your mouth shut, you come home, then we'll go back and we'll take care of it. But now and then the parents, you better not say nothing to my son, my daughter, blah, blah, blah. So now then the kids think that they don't have to follow the rules. So then what you think? Oh, well, they didn't have to shoot him. Well, why his ass didn't stay in the car when they told him to stay in the car?
Well, why is he back talking authority anyway?
Right. You know, he riding around with the pistol and the 6 pounds of weed or whatever. You know you're wrong, but you got a lot of mouth and a lot of lip. Come on, bro. It just I don't know how we got over here.
But I was like, you know, for me too, like one thing I saw the girl I went to school with too, and he's older now, but I remember when this kid was probably 2 or 3 years old, and she had him draped in designer.
Oh,
and in my mind, I thought to myself, everybody's like, oh, that's cute. I said, that's sad because that kid don't know shit about
that one.
That kid don't know anything about Gucci and Louis Vuitton. That kid wants shoes that light up when he walk and shit. He see all these other kids having kid stuff, and you messing that child up because they can't be a child. You're trying to prematurely grow the child up because you care about this stuff. Mm-hmm. You know, so I thought it was sad. I was looking at the comments and I was like, he's 2 or 3 years old. Like, why are you buying him designer clothes?
Because that's the stuff that they feel I missed. And you know, a lot of times what you see the mothers, the father's not around. So what they're doing is they're trying to prove to the father, we don't need you. See, he got on designers. See, he got diamond earrings in his ears. See, he got on gold chains. We don't need you.
Right.
And it's got nothing to do with the kid.
And so it directly works to itself. It's like, so you have a kid that's grade school age, you have an 8 or 9 year old, and if they're worried so much about what they have on and how they appear, they can't put all that focus on that and their studies trying to get smarter at the same time. You're gonna sacrifice something.
Too cute. I'm too cute. I ain't got time to do schoolwork because my drip is dripping, and
I just don't get it either. So, I want to ask you this too. Like, so I mentioned earlier about you. You always started your mantra from day one about making sure to tell your subconscious mind that you're having a good day. What for you? What was the trigger that made you say, all right? At the time or whatever, I'm putting out maybe 2 videos a week. Let me just start putting a daily video out. Was it more so for your grandchildren, or what was the thought process behind it before you started?
So let me go back, right? So where it came from. So people will come lately and they'll say, oh man, your life is great. You had this great attitude, whatever. That ain't where it came from. I was in some of the deepest, darkest days of my life. And when I tell you some of the thoughts that was going through my head in those days, I'd have been in jail if I had went forward with what it was that I was going to do, because I had just got to the end of my rope. I was tired of people messing with me, certain folks.
Yep.
And that was it. I wasn't going to take it no more, and it just seemed like every corner I went, everything was falling apart. It was terrible. And so I went from way high, everything was good, to down in the valley. So I just said one day, you know what? I'm just going to say, you know what? Well, I don't know. Today was terrible, but you know what? Tomorrow's going to be a good day.
Right.
And I just said that. And it was one day. And I just kept saying it. Tomorrow, you know what? Tomorrow's going to be a good day. And I said, well, it's going to be better than good. It's going to be great. It's going to be a great day. So I just started saying it, right? So whatever. I like OG Ricky will say, this was just my therapy. I was just talking to myself. I wasn't talking to nobody else, right? I put the video out. I'm putting it out there for me. I wasn't putting it out there for nobody else. And then I had like 3 people in a week at work say, hey, man, where the videos at? I don't see the videos anymore, right? So I said, all right, I'll start doing it again, right? So let me start doing it. So then I used to say to Savannah, hey, Savannah, have a good day. They said, well, what about Ashton? I said, okay, Savannah and Ashton. So I put it out there. So I put it out there not really even thinking that they were watching it, right? I didn't think they was watching it. And then one day, my grandson called me. He said, you know what, Fasa? He said, today was a great day. I was like, man, he's really paying attention to what I'm saying. And then the shout out to the Bones family, Mark and his family. He said he tell his kids every day when they go out the door, today is going to be another great day. He said when the kids will come home from school, they say, you know what, Dad, today was a great day. My man Matt Bailey said they think he crazy in his house. He told him it's gonna be a great day, ain't it? It's a great day, ain't it? Yeah, Dad, it's a great day. No, I don't think you heard me. It's a great day, ain't it? Yeah, Dad, it's a great day. And he said even his wife will say she thanks you because my mindset and my outlook has changed since I started saying it's been another great day. And then it just started growing and growing and growing. And a lot of people just saying, you know what? man, it's kind of rough right now, but I just kept saying I'm having a great day. And, the day wasn't the best, but it was still pretty good. So I'm like, I'll take that. I'll take that. Because I know what it's like. So like you said earlier, the videos are there. My family don't watch all my videos. After I'm out of here, whatever, this is like something they can go back and watch and be like, man, Pops was really on one that day. He had something to say, and who knows, it might get to a point where you can't talk anymore. Like the Muhammad Ali, used to have all the mouth, and it got to a point he can't talk anymore, but his words will speak for him. So
forever.
Yeah, forever. So that's just kind of the way it was. And, I've been going up and down in the slump, and I've been slacking off on it because I'm trying to get myself together. So you can't help other people get themselves together when you ain't together,
And that's another point I made too, is just like sometimes you have people, I think sometimes you have to learn to be selfish, because I was saying, if you're not happy and you're not in a good space, how can you make somebody else happy? So,
right.
But for me, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
And that's one of the things that in some of the organized religions that just bothers me. I'm watching one of these guys, this apostle and so-called apostle who had meetings with Jesus and yada yada yada. But then you watch those people, and you watch how some of those leaders, so-called leaders, because I'm not gonna call you a leader, lead people astray, and they lead people in the wrong direction. And then you'll have folks say, well, I'm not going to church because look at the way this preacher is doing. Look at the way this preacher is acting or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? So you are supposed to be an example, but an example doesn't mean that you're perfect. You're gonna have some pastors. There was a guy, he was out in LA, he was out in gang territory, and something was going on or whatever. Whatever the story, this guy had started a bakery, a homeboy bakery or something like that. And so one day they was getting ready to start, fighting or whatever in the middle of the street, and the pastor came out and he started cussing at him, put the fucking sticks down or whatever. And they were just so shocked that the pastor cussed. And he was like, look, I got to get your attention. I got to speak in a language that you understand. But I'm not perfect. So, we all have, things that we do that are not wrong, things we repent for or whatever. So as a leader, you have to be able to say, you know what? I know where you're coming from. And sometimes as a leader, you have to say, you know what? I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer. I'll try to help you find the answer. Maybe we can find the answer together. But so many people stand up in their pulpits and say, all you got to do is this. It's so easy. It ain't easy, man. People have hard lives. Hard lives.
And speaking about that too, so what I've noticed too is, speaking about leaders, so many people, everybody's not meant to be a leader. So many people, and then so many people want to lead without learning how to follow first.
Yep.
Everybody just wants to come straight in and just be the man or be up top. It don't work like that, man. You have to become like, how I feel about Kobe Bryant. His favorite basketball player, his Mamba mentality. I live by that. That's what keeps me driven. David Goggins, people like that. But Kobe Bryant's a perfect example. He was very aggressive when he was very early on in his career. But at the same time, he asked all the pertinent questions to Michael Jordan, people like that. And not only that, but he put in the work. He put in the work. And that's what I tried to tell so many reviewers that came behind me. Y'all want to lead and be up top, and you don't want to do no work.
Right.
You try, or not only that, but pay the respects to the people that have been here before you and longer than you. But you know how you impress those people? Even if they don't say anything to you, they're watching. Just just do the work.
So let me ask you a question. Is the goal of some of those folks to be leaders, or is the goal to be popular, have a lot of clout, a lot of internet clout?
So it kind of boils back to what we were talking about too earlier, as far as just the social media has, like I was saying earlier, has just killed it, and it's created this perception that people are seeking so much validation. They want everybody to feel like they're important, or everybody to feel like they're on top, and it's just like, again, this is a skill set that I learned very early on from my father, but just learning how to read people and just read situations and read different things. So when I'm talking to somebody very soon or very early on, I can tell what their intentions are or what they are really after. Like for one example, if a reviewer comes up to me and within a month of them starting their channel, well, man, how do you think I can get sponsored? Or what about this new ID company? You think they'll send me something too?
Right.
Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with desiring to be sponsored and getting free things, but you haven't put in the time yet.
Right.
Honestly, you don't deserve it.
But on the other hand, there are people that have come and how they'll say, "Oh, Lee taking notes" or whatever. So I've had phone calls where people say, "All right, listen. All right, so I want to know this, that, whatever. I need to know about what's some of the things that I could do to get this. I see you do this. How do you do that? Whatever." Okay, cool. All right, listen, I'm gonna go work on that, and then I'll get back to you later. And I got some more questions for you, but I ain't gonna get it all right now. But let me just work on that, and then I'll come back. And then, like you say, you watch what they do, and you say, "Yeah, man, I see them stepping up. I see them really trying to, work on their game. They're really trying to make their thing look better, sound better, be more informative, whatever the case is." Those are the people you would hope would be successful, but those are not necessarily always the people who are going to be on the top of the internet clout game.
No, some people sell out.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, and I guess
you know my number one pet peeve though that I cannot stand is
what's that?
All right, I give you some homework or something. All right, LeeMack, improve this thing on your camera and sound or whatever. Okay, all right, cool. Hey man, hey, did you see my video? I improved my sound. And then, hey, did you see this? Did you see this? Did you see this? Hey man, just do it. Just do it. You don't have to let me know every time something's changing or you're doing something. And that, to me, that's a telltale sign if you're doing it for the right reasons too. You up here, hey man, I'm doing it.
I used to tell my nephew, he would tell me stuff, right? Whatever. So, he was going through some ups and downs or whatever. So he started doing good. You see me, Uncle Lee, you see me? Yeah, and I had to tell him that. I said, listen, you do good and you do right. I'll see you. And when you do it, I will know that you are doing the right thing. I will know. And it's not that I have to go look or nothing or whatever. It's just people will come, you'll run across something, you'll say, "Oh man, your nephew is really doing this thing over there." Yeah, man, I'm proud of him. He's doing good. We call up nephew and tell him, "Hey man, the word on the street is that they see you out there. You're doing something good, But I don't know. And so, maybe I'm still waiting for the person to come out there and say, "Look, man, I don't really want to know nothing about these cigars. It looks cool. I see y'all out there smoking cigars. I see them sending y'all shit. I just want some shit. I just want to look cool. I want to sit at the cool kids table. How can I get in?" And you know what? I think that would be okay, right? For that type of person, I think that would be okay if that person did this. Okay, you invited to the cool kids table, the big kids, the VIP or whatever, and you don't never see them and you don't never hear them because they're sitting there soaking up game. They're soaking up game. It's like, look, I'm just trying to learn. Anybody thinks that you can't learn, it's too many people that know so much of everything, and they just, I don't know. It's like a lot of people say, "Oh, you know a lot about cigars." I'm going, no, I really don't know much about cigars. I know what I've learned, but
it's way more that I don't know than I know.
Right, exactly. And I'm still trying to learn. It's like, it's like how many times when we were talking about leather, you're like, "Oh, they keep talking about this leather." I said, "Man, I don't know this leather they keep talking about. I don't know what leather is." And then I had a guy say today, "Oh, you talking about old electronics. Come on, man, you can't be serious." And I'm going, no, I am serious because my experience has taken me to a place where I smelled something that maybe you won't never smell. So that's a part of the experience. And, I've sent that homework assignment. I've sent people, I say, you got a Wegmans or a store like that where they sell like loose spices and stuff like that. When you're talking about like cinnamon and nutmeg and all these different orange peel and citrus or whatever. I said, look, you can buy like a handful of that stuff. It ain't cost you much, right? I said, if you really want to know what this stuff tastes like or people are talking about it, go down there and buy you some. Put it in a little jar, a little Ziploc bag, whatever you got, right? So when they talk about cinnamon, smell your cinnamon bag, right? And then you bite off a little piece and taste it. See what it tastes like in your mouth. Now, when you get to that type of taste in the cigar, you be like, oh, yeah, that's what they're talking about. But how many people want to do that work? They don't want to do that work. I just want to say cinnamon because you said cinnamon.
Yeah, it's too easy to regurgitate in a written review. And so for me, all this stuff correlates together too, right? Cigars, spirits. Now we're recently picking up fragrances,
right?
You know, all it's just me, my nose constantly working and me trying to broaden my mental catalog of things. And so when I'm smoking cigars or fragrance, it all ties in together, you know. And,
hey, you know what, Ron? So you know, I got that Mancera set, right? So what I like about it tells you, hey, listen, it's got this and patchouli and orange and this. And then I go to Fragrantica and I can look at the notes or whatever. So I put it on and I got it on. And I'm trying to smell it, and I'm going, okay, there's some things that they say is there that I don't recognize. So I saw on, I think on Two Guys Smoke Shop, they were talking about this set that they had where I think you could buy. It has like the fragrances and you could like the different, you know, notes or whatever. So now that's where I'm looking to go. I want to be able to say, when you say, you know, patchouli or cinnamon or whatever, when I say old electronics, maybe it's not. It's something in old electronics that is of specific flavor, but that's how I can describe it. But maybe there's a better way that I can describe it. So now I want to know how to be able to describe it better. If I'm smelling this whiskey, I don't know, smells like alcohol, you know, but maybe there is some other notes in there that I want to be able to describe, because when I'm smoking the cigar, I can pick out some of those same notes that makes me a better reviewer if I can do something like that.
And speaking of that too, today I wore, this is another nice cheap one too. This is Sean John 3 a.m. I think this 100 mil cost me 20 bucks.
Right.
It's a real nice spring and summer. Now this one's cool because it's got like bergamot, cardamom, which I can pick up cardamom because I, you know, from drinking so much chai and then actually opening up cardamom and smelling it, like, and I really like that note. It has orange, fig leaf, like, and I can pick up most things. Like you said, there are some certain stuff like, unless it's really astringent or really pungent, it's hard for me to pick that out, which for me isn't a bad thing because I look at that as the perfumer really knows what they're doing. If they're, you know, and like a friend of mine was telling me this the other day, he was like, you know, a lot of times if you see only 9 or 10 notes on that fragrance, it might actually be 40 or 50 in there. They just not gonna put them all in there.
And it's funny that
maybe what's the most prominent.
It's funny that you mentioned bergamot because that's one of the things that's on there. And I have a friend that does body butters and bath oils and stuff like that. And that was one of the fragrances that she makes, but I don't know what it smells like. And, you know, when you say bergamot, I go back to the green hair grease that my mother used to use on my sister. So I'm like,
it smells like that.
Oh, is that what it is? I don't know. So that's what I'm trying to learn. I got more to learn, you know?
Well, so this could make sense, right? So I don't know when they started really using like molecules and start using synthetics, but 100 years ago, like iris, lavender, they used to extract this stuff out of the real plants and the real vegetation. So so I'm saying that to say this, back in the day when your mother was using that hair care product, there was a very good chance that stuff really did have real extract from certain things. So it's not all synthetic like it is now. So you might be onto something with that too. Now, bergamot, I can only associate it with, because it's in so many fragrances I have upstairs and it's kind of a similar thing. So I'm like, okay, maybe that's what bergamot smells like. But I know what fig smells like. I know what orange smells like. I know what cardamom smells like. I know what iris smells like. Vanilla, caramel, like I know what that stuff smells like. But like you, certain things. And so another thing what I'm impressed with it is too, even like in cigars, with a fragrance, you can have vetiver. Let's just use vetiver as an example.
Right.
You can have 10 different vetiver fragrances with vetiver, and they all smell completely different. One can be very grassy and green. One can be more refined and more earth. You know, it's just like all that stuff keeps me engaged and keeps me interested. So like fragrances now are just really interesting to me just to see. I'm not that smart with math and chemistry, but it's just amazing to me how somebody can just concoct compositions and make this stuff. Oh, we're going to make this. And oh, this one only lasts 3 hours. Well, this one lasts all day. Well, why does that one last all day? You know, like what's the, you know, and I want to go further than just an eau de toilette or eau de parfum or a parfum or extract. Like what is the ingredient? There's got to be something in there, whether it's I can't even say ISO Super E or whatever it's called, or whatever, or ambergris, or what is it stretching it? You know, because it's like you'll have, or clones. Let's say, for example, clones. So Creative Vintage is a very popular fragrance. Now, the conception on that fragrance is it smells good, but it doesn't last as long as the old stuff. Well, now they got clones that smell exactly the same, but will last all day. And I'm like, well, okay, well, what are they putting in there that Creed's not putting in there to make their stuff last longer?
Now, you know what I'm thinking?
I just always have questions.
You know what I'm thinking as you're saying that, right? So you have certain smell sets that you like. So when you start talking about your blending of cigars, right? You know certain things go together, certain things don't go together. So if you are able to pick up, say, some of those notes out of this type of leaf or this country or whatever, and you know in the cologne, these 2-3 things go good together. Hey, you know what? It might go good together in a cigar. You know, you never know. It's something for you to try, you know?
Yep. Yeah, so I mean, I just picked up. I don't even, you know, I had some fragrances a few years ago, but it was just more so regular stuff. And then I don't even know why. Actually, I do know why. I do know why. I'm lying. A friend of mine in Atlanta, JC, got me together with Rob, Fragrance Journey 01.
Right.
And when I started watching his content, and then I was like, oh man, he's from Memphis, so let me start watching his content. And then all of a sudden, you know, I'm got 10 fragrances, and then I got 50, and you know, it's just like, and I sometimes I'll walk in the room and pick stuff up, open it, and just smell it. I just, you know, I can't explain it to nobody, but I get some satisfaction and some
And then, you know, like we talked about,
it's just a pure love.
We talked earlier about, you know, your friends and that group of people back before social media days. You hung out with the people that liked you, and y'all like the same things.
Right.
So then you find those people that like the same things, like you were saying with Brother Woods. You're like, oh, I see him over in the fragrance thing, and we're talking about some fragrance stuff, and we both smoke cigars. And man, here's another subset of people that, you know what, we could go somewhere, we could hang out, we could have a good conversation, you know?
Right. Yep. Me and Priest were talking about it earlier today too. He's in the fragrance. You getting in the fragrance now. There's a couple other people I know that like him too. So it's just like, it's a small world, because it literally was crazy. Like I looked on that video and I'm like, man, Brother Woods over here. You know, because it's so many millions of videos on YouTube.
Right.
So the chances of me seeing him, I was just like, damn, that's crazy, man. You know, so I had to comment. I was like, man, it's cool to see you over here. He's like, yeah, man, you know, smoke good, got to smell good too. I'm like, yeah, damn right, smoke good, smell better, you know. So
and so you know, I'm gonna circle it back around though. You know, one of the reasons why I started smoking cigars was because it was a relaxing thing in the middle of having those bad days. All of a sudden now I found I could just sit down, relax, and enjoy myself, right? So when we got into this whole, thing that locked us down for the last year, we started getting into Zoom calls, and we started hanging out with people that we knew, and we got to talk about things, and we got to smoke our cigars and have a good time. So when it turns into this, I want to say this gang mentality, it's my gang versus your gang, and now all of a sudden y'all are pissing me off over here. This one is mad at that one, and I'm mad at those over there, whatever. Now it's taking the fun out of it, you know? So I think we need to really just listen. You watch who you like, you don't watch who you don't like, and you know, hang out in your little group. I'm gonna hang over here with my buddy Jeffrey. You know, he gonna hang out with me, because you know what? When it comes down to it, and I need somebody to help me push my 1976 Toyota Corolla down the street because my starter is bad, I know I'm on one side of the car and Jeff is on the other side. He fussing the whole time because Jeff about 300 pounds. He fussing, but he pushing my car, and we hop in and we ride together and we laugh and we have a good time. So that's what it really ought to go back to. You ought to have a good time and hang out with the people that you have a good time with. If you don't have a good time with those people over there, don't hang out with them over there. Some of the people want to make it so exclusive. Hey, listen, you can only be in our group if you do this and you do that. And well, okay, that's fine. I'm gonna find a group somewhere else where they like me how I am, and they'll let me.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
you know, whatever, you know.
Right. Yeah, and so going back to like the friend and associate thing too. So this is kind of, and I just literally, this thought process literally just started formulating in my head again. Like, so like I'm just constantly thinking about stuff. So I would venture to say, for me, an associate is somebody I like, or I like them. The friend is somebody I love.
Right.
You know what I mean? I love it. I love everybody, but I don't love everybody. You know what I mean?
Not
my
the same
friends,
way.
I love my friends. If I don't, it's like I can talk to you all day long and I like you, you cool. Like, yeah, we associates, but my friends are people I love. Those are people, like you just said, they call me whenever. I'm gonna stop whatever I'm doing if I'm not tired of doing some family stuff or something, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna help them and do whatever I can in any form. And guess what? Here's the other thing. If you call me for something and I necessarily can't do it, I might know somebody. Hey, well, Lee, I can't do it, but hang tight. Right. I know somebody else that might be able to help you. So, and
your friends are. I guess we can. I can say your friends are the ones who come over and they say, "Man, hey, look, bro, I'm down right now. I need a shirt, man. You know, whatever. If you don't mind, I'll take that dirty shirt off your back that you've been wearing all day, if you don't mind." Of course, see, my friend is not going to ask me for something if they don't really need it. But my friend, before he's finished asking, I'm like, "Oh, no, I'll give you this shirt. But if you need, I got another shirt, man. That's, in fact, let me give you 4, 5, 7 shirts or whatever. You need a dress shirt, you got an interview or whatever. Come on, let's go down here. And I got you hooked up." And then the other part about your friend is, I'm never going to go back and say, "Hey, you remember that time I gave you that shirt?" We ain't never going to talk about it.
Right.
Never going to talk about it. It's done.
And it's you know, because I love you.
Right.
I love you. I'm not finna hold that over your head.
And I'm not about.
What would that make me?
I'm not about to see you out here assed out and you my friend. You my friend. I'm not going to see you assed out.
We at a festival. I'm smoking an aged Cuban. I got a whole box. You could be smoking an aged Cuban right there with me.
And then
I'm not gonna. Oh, I'm smoking $100 cigar, but you smoking a factory smoke or something like that. Like,
that ain't right. That ain't right. You know, I went by some kids the other day. So in Philly, they sell a lot of water and stuff on the corner or whatever. So we had some kids in Delaware, little black boys. They was out there. They had their little cooler. They was selling water or whatever. I was like, oh man, I don't have no cash or whatever, right? So I always have some kind of little something in the car. So I looked in there at a $5 bill. So a little boy came over. I said, "Here, y'all take this. Give me the water." I said, "I take a bottle, whatever." Man, them kids were so excited. They was running around. What is $5 to me? You understand? $5 was nothing to me. But if we don't support the kids, right? Them same kids could be somewhere trying to rob you or break in your house or doing something, whatever. They on the corner trying to hustle up some money. So I applaud their effort. We got to stand behind the kids that's trying to do something.
And here's another thing I commend you on too. I don't like sometimes when I see all the time when people are doing good deeds or good acts, they always record it. Well, look what I'm doing.
Yeah, that ain't recorded.
I'm giving turkeys to the family. And it's like, I don't like that stuff either. You know, I see that and I'm just like, well,
Cause you're not helping for the sake of helping. You're helping for the sake of somebody seeing you help. You know, when my wife's grandfather was the pastor, we used to have a benevolent fund, right? So in the church benevolent fund, it'd be like, that's where you putting your dollars into the plate, right? So pastor used to take all them dollars and he would have all them dollars wrapped up in the rubber bands in his desk drawer, right? So if somebody came back into his office or whatever, they shut the door or whatever, and whatever the issue was, what they needed, some money or whatever, he would go into them dollars or whatever and peel some off and, give them some money or try to help them out or whatever. But the rest of the church didn't know about it. Nobody knew about it.
Right.
I only knew about it because my wife is his granddaughter and she was his assistant, so she knew what was going on. And I only knew about it afterwards, way afterwards.
Right.
He got all them dollars in the desk drawer. I said, "Oh, he do? I didn't know what he did."
Just being a completely genuine person.
Right. Yep. So,
but we I say we guess we could wrap this one up. So what we'll do is I'll take a peek in the chat, and if we, like I said, we're gonna try to get up. We don't know what days it's gonna be. It's gonna all really depend on scheduling. But we only want to be up for an hour because it's not gonna take a whole lot of time. We both got other stuff going on too. But we feel like it's really important to talk about some particular subject that, and you just never know whose day you could be helping out too. So if you guys want to put in the comment section, put down some topics that you potentially want to hear us talk about, and we'll take a look and I'll jot some stuff down. And we'll come back and see y'all next week.
Can you see the chat?
Anything you want to say?
No, I can't see the. I can't see the
peek in now.
I can't see the chat, but thanks to everybody that kind of came over and hang out with us and hear us talk about some stuff other than cigars. This is a part of the conversation that Ron and I have, and it's just like this. Just like this, we go from one subject to another subject to another subject, and before you know it, an hour or two might go by, and we done talked about a little bit of everything, So that's man talk. That's all I can say.
And I think it's funny too, right? So we said it in videos before, but I think a lot of times people might not necessarily believe it sometimes for whatever reason. But we talk of cigars. If we talk for an hour, cigar talk we might talk about cigars for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, but we talk about so much other different stuff. I might have a question or some advice I need or vice versa. And we talk about so much other different stuff. And I honestly think that's what helped strengthen. That's what helped for me. That's what helped strengthen our relationship up so quick, because it was just like, I was like, man, I feel like I've known Lee my whole life. It ain't just, and that's why I've always said, even if I just quit the channel or whatever, it's like me and Lee are still gonna be friends. Like I still talk to him every day, and I know it'd be the exact same if Lee was to quit his channel. It's just like we're friends now. It's whatever.
And the funny thing you talk about the cigar, right? We said what we were smoking up front. I'm coming down into the final third. I see you down into the final third. We never once said, I'm getting hints of pepper and leather. It's a good cigar, whatever, because we had more important stuff to talk about than the cigar.
And I've said it on record too so many times. I think I was on a few shows and stuff before, and we got to talking about cigars, and I honestly said the cigars I really enjoy most of the time are the ones that are off camera, where I don't have to focus all the time on flavor and all that stuff. I can just smoke this. Like, so this Diesel Lancero, I can say I like this cigar. I don't know really, I wasn't paying too much attention to it, but I like it enough to pick it up and smoke it. So Carson, if you are watching or you catch the playback, I will smoke this cigar again. I looked online, they're not even that expensive either. So I'll definitely be checking out this cigar again to sit down in the quiet and be able to kind of digest what I got.
Same thing with this Davidoff, James. Good cigar. I like this cigar. I'd smoke it again. But we talked earlier about some cigars. We were on the phone about some cigars we smoked. I said, I smoked the other day. I had a Comfortably Numb that I smoked. I said, it was a good cigar. We talked about cigars that we smoked. We talked about that daggone, what was it, Blue Skies or whatever. Yeah, it's a good cigar or whatever, right? So we talk about this stuff. It's just not the major point or why we are on the phone talking. We could talk, but you want to hear what we think about cigar, I could watch the videos or go to Ron's Patreon channel or whatever, And
I was about to say, between us both, we're doing so much cigar shit anyway all the time. It's kind of nice to not talk about cigars sometimes, man. Like some days I just don't, you know what I mean? It's just like, I just come out of my sunroom, pull out a cigar, watch whatever videos that has nothing to do with cigars, and just go off into my own space. So
that's it. Shout out to Cigar Show Tim. He said, great show, man. He liked to talk. So shout out to you, brother.
Yeah, definitely appreciate y'all. And Lee, I'll let you close us out, man. If you got anything to say,
all right,
like
hey,
I said,
listen.
we're gonna try to do it once a week.
We'll see y'all next week. Definitely, stay up and stay strong. Stay motivated. Remember to be driven and never motivated, because when you have that drive is something that's inside of you all the time. That motivation comes and it goes. So you want to be driven in everything that you do, because if you are driven when you are facing failure, you keep going. If you're motivated and your motivation is waning and you start feeling down, you're going to say, nah, I'm going to give this up. You got to keep on being driven. And when you wake up in the morning, you got to say to yourself, today is going to be another great day, because you don't know what's going to happen today. Today could be full of all kinds of storms and bad things, and you got to have your subconscious mind tuned up to be able to bring you right on through those bad times. And that's what I do every day, man. This is my 14th year doing it. People say, must be all good days. Nah, if you've been watching me for a while, you watch how I struggle with this truck, and you watch how I kept pouring money into it, and you watch how when I thought everything was going good, something else would break. And today I went out there and I rode, and I took a nice ride back up the coast, coming back home 2.5 hours, listening to my book, listening to whatever. And I'm like, this is what trucking is supposed to be for me, because tonight I'm sleeping in my bed. So I appreciate all of y'all. Ron, I appreciate you. Always appreciate the conversations. It is what it is. It's real. You can't fake real. Real recognize real. And, hopefully somebody will learn something from it that they'll be able to take and apply to their own lives. And if you do, that's cool. If you don't, well, you just keep on. You'll get it eventually.
Yeah, and I was going to say, if anybody wants to watch any cigar content, Lee is still putting out plenty of cigar content. So y'all go over it. Go over to his channel. I'll link it in the description after the live goes off, so y'all go check him out, because I don't know how many new people are in here too. But definitely appreciate you guys tuning in. We're going to call it a night. Y'all be good, man. We love y'all. Y'all be good. Make sure to keep telling yourselves that today is a great day.
Yes, sir.
Y'all be good.
All right, peace. Later.